As we mentioned before, this risk assessment process from NIST Special Publication 800-30 Revision 1 interprets the process of identifying risk and then evaluating and prioritizing risk based on the level of importance, severity of the risk. To perform this process, we must understand the risk through identifying threats, vulnerabilities, likelihood, impact, and asset value. The first step of understanding risk, and also the most critical step, is to know as much as we can about the factors that create the conditions that enable both threat agents' hazardous but non-volitional events to disrupt, degrade, deny, or destroy the organization's information assets and the systems that support them. Given the increasing scope and complexity of cyber attacks and the damages they can cause, it's becoming more important to distinguish between these two broad causes of risk events. It is true that many in the information security profession consider acts of nature such as storms or earthquakes or the failure of public utilities to provide electricity or other services to be threats to ongoing information systems operation. However, in risk management and insurance terms, these are more properly and commonly understood as hazards or risks and not as threats. Organizations are at risk of adverse weather, of course, as they are of accidentally triggered fires or other damage, and their insurance providers know how to deal with these. As a result, the risks related to power failure, flooding, and fire must also be considered in the risk assessment process. By contrast, with acts of nature, cyber attacks are still poorly understood by the insurance markets, as shown by the number of companies whose insurers have denied coverage for cyber attacks or data breaches for various confusing reasons. As an SSCP, you'll probably not be involved in specifying insurance coverages as part of information systems risk management. However, you will have an opportunity to contribute to that process by using clear, unambiguous business terminology as you assess and report on risks. To better understand the threat agents, we need to identify the threat agents as intentional or unintentional. Intentional threat agents, with their attacks, ransom attacks, and data breaches, attract a lot of attention from the media, and the risk associated with such threat agents is often substantial. However, intentional adversaries come in many different guises. Insider threats can be employees who have gone rogue from personal reasons, are in collusion with an outsider, or just poorly trained. External threat actors can be amateurs playing at hacking or trying their hand at a bug bounty. They may be frustrated customers or vendors, fraudsters and con artists, or criminals attempting a ransomware or data breach attack. They might even be unscrupulous competitors in your organization's marketplaces attempting to go too far in conducting market intelligence gathering. The motivation and skill of the attacker has a bearing on the choice of controls. A poorly motivated hacker just looking for an easy way to do damage or gain notoriety may be deterred through fairly simple controls, whereas an advanced, persistent threat, APT, will have the motivation, skills, and resources necessary to continue the attack and possibly overcome simple controls. Of course, humans cause information systems disruptions without any conscious intention to do so. Accidents happen. Poorly designed systems and procedures often contain unrecognized vulnerabilities that users can innocently trigger into causing the system to behave abnormally. Security appliances can have complex capabilities that are poorly described in their users' manuals, leading to innocent, unintended misconfiguration that fails to block one or more threat vectors. Poorly designed or inadequately enforced data quality procedures can in effect cause a malformed data attack on the system through no conscious intent. Humans cause these vulnerabilities to exist, of course, even if they didn't realize it as they were designing and building the systems in question. Such unintended events are often referred to as unintentional or self-inflicted cyber attacks, data breaches, or intrusions as a result.